Heavy is the head that has to manage all of this.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel.
We're now incentivized to buy what we already buy.
Fumbling through college had me building.
I also got something done on the other side.
And that was right around, I would say, May, maybe right before renewing the lease for this property.
Welcome to the channel, Martha.
Thank you for having me here.
Oh, I was going to say, I am getting up in their names, I'll tell you what.
Bills paid by other people, life was never this good. I had to step back, knowing that it's...
Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. So back in my career, it was just literally the previous job that I worked prior to the one that I'm currently at. I ran into a man who was getting ready to retire. He said, "These youngins don't work the same way I used to." He said, "Everybody just wants to sit back and relax. They're lazy. They don't want to do anything." But you see, there were jobs that used to respect people. There were jobs that used to want the best for people. There were jobs that used to offer pensions. But then they realized that people were going to live a lot longer. And this pension that we were offering was cutting into our bottom line. Instead, let's give them 4% now while they're with us, and nothing when they leave. That caps our liability, is a small increase on the wage in which they would have, and is only contingent on what they themselves put into the market. So someone who is already being paid peanuts must then pay into a system in order to receive 4% of a match. Imagine you're already not paid your worth, and the company doesn't even say, you know what, let's invest 4% regardless of what they do, just because they're working for us. No, it's totally dependent on whether or not you believe in your own financial future enough and want to propel yourself into a life where you're not working at 85 years of age. You see, the man said, "We got up every day and went to work." Yes, you did. You also received a pension. You also had housing at $10,000, $15,000. Yes, there were times where you were making $2.50. But you also had the backing of not needing education, not needing certain parameters that limit us today. Inflation skyrocketing to heights that were never seen before. Immigration taking jobs of the average working class American. You didn't have to deal with that. You didn't have to deal with the transition phase where your parents don't understand the stock market. They were too used to saving and waiting on a company to save them. They were too used to a Social Security system that actually worked in the past. Now people are struggling because inflation is eroding Social Security at a rate that they have never seen before in their lifetime. Inflation was far higher than the increase in Social Security and disability benefits. And each and every single year, the formula that Congress has put in place decades ago will continue to be flawed. And so Social Security will never keep up with the rate of inflation, and therefore, each and every single year that passes by, the next generation becomes poorer and poorer and poorer if they rely on a system that has been broken for years. Eventually, Social Security will be just as much as $100 in your pocket, which isn't much today. That might get you a nice dinner for two. Not at a very luxurious restaurant, but at a decent restaurant. And so 40 years from now, that is what Social Security will actually amount to. It will amount to something that is not going to sustain you. Media has already pushed the notion that you should not rely on Social Security to save you. And they are absolutely right. Because the truth is, it won't. That is the truth. And so, yes, when you have a pension to rely on, when you have Social Security to rely on, when you have companies that actually invested in your future, it is not the same as someone saying invest in a 401k when they themselves don't have one. And respect a job that doesn't respect you enough to actually put in a 4% rate of return into the stock market for you without you needing to match it on a $16 an hour salary at McDonald's. Pensions are going extinct. Companies are laying off at record numbers because their highest cost, let's face it, is going to be their labor. Why don't we work just as hard as you? It's not that we don't work just as hard as you. It's that we respect ourselves enough to understand that the companies are not loyal to any one person. They may have been loyal to you 40 years ago, but no, they'll drop you at the drop of a hat now. At the drop of a dime now, they'll drop you like a bad habit. And so when the young generation is prioritizing vacations and going out to eat with friends, the only thing I'll tell them is make sure you have an emergency fund. Make sure you're investing just as much as you spend on fun. Because one day, that money that you're investing will be the only thing to save you. The only person that you can depend on is yourself. That is what this generation needs to understand and know. Because if they're waiting for a job to save them because they were loyal for 10, 20, 30 years, they'll be waiting for the rest of their life. If you like this video, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. You know I post on YouTube, Rumble, and Spotify for podcasters, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Peace.